My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state.
We document the Asian male that's a gang stalker engaging in what is targeting me with the city of Ontario, is engaging in what is crossing a path and is monitoring me right now and is doing so with the city of Ontario and is engaging in what is telling me that I can't sleep here, which is his means of monitoring me, by the way, while he's engaging in gang stalking. This is the city of Ontario that's engaged in what is monitoring parking patrol is what he calls that. He's engaging in the pattern of conduct, and the first night that I documented him, he's gang stalking me with the Ontario International Airport, who is stalking right here. And he's engaging in what is gang 44 in the morning, and is engaging in that conduct right now. That's the time. It's currently 2:45 a.m. And he's engaging in the pattern of conduct while he's beating on the bench and running off. I don't even hear what he said. But this is the so-called parking patrol. That's a gang stalker that's engaging in what is at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I just want to document that. This is P.O.C. I documented him also. He's the psychopath that's pacing in and out of the of this room over here. Gang stalking, doing so with, again, the people of the state that are engaged in surveillance, sitting in their cars, sitting around aiming and molesting with light. He's monitoring. And he's engaging in what is harassing me while I'm on the bench over here, while he is monitoring every single night. And tonight he chose to hit on the bench while he is crossing paths in the specific environment. This is P.O.C. It is currently 2:46 a.m. and I have this demon's license plate, and I've been documenting him and capturing his ongoing engagement in the pattern of conduct, stalking in the path, parking where this red truck parks, using the vehicle as light activity, and doing so as a demon. So he'll use it as light activity when he's not in the car, when I'm looking at the vehicle, when I am engaging in documenting it, using it as a means of light activity. While he's not even in the car, he's not around, he's a demon that's monitoring. But I just want to document that, and I've been documenting him. It's 2:46 a.m.
Alrighty, this is the entity that's gang stalking me and claiming that I can't sleep here overnight when they're gang stalking me every night. So engaging in that is a means of what is targeting me, and it's also relevant to the entity that is hostile. Remember, this is about the entity that's gang stalking me and further into murder, and gang stalking while fully expecting to go to prison. So this is relevant to demons like Jason Fields, who are embarrassed on the internet while he's being called out as a homosexual that actually hates women and is gang stalking me and is not in love with me. He's fearful of prison, and he's literally using gang stalking me as a means to coerce me into associating with him so that the FBI, the feds, don't take him to prison, so that he can create some sort of superficial appearance of having a relationship with me, which gang stalking does not create. It also doesn't render legitimate anything that he's ever said about me and all the money and things that he's stolen and the ways in which he's conspired and targeted me, including with the city of Ontario that's gang stalking at the same location where the so-called parking enforcement. He's not parking enforcement. He started gang stalking me. I took a picture of it, and ever since I documented that, he's been repeatedly engaging in the pattern of conduct here. It's the same entity, and he's not security either, and Securitas is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring when they are here, which is not until early in the morning. It's 4:30 right now. The Securitas is not here, and even when they are here, they're gang stalking. I already documented that. And this demon on the video, you can see him not enforcing parking, which there is no park. There's nothing to enforce here. But this demon is over here targeting me, beating on the bench to harass me. And this is because homosexuals like Jason Fields are going to prison, and gang stalking me did not successfully coerce me or cause me to be fearful and call up this co-conspirator of my murder, Jason Fields, which is not going to happen. And the feds are watching Jason Fields target me. He's going to prison. That is directly what is on the underway. This is the entity that threatens criminal summoning while you're talking about I can't sleep here, while it's your fault that I'm sleeping outside. That's a threat by the Ontario police. Understand that. The Ontario police engage in kidnapping on behalf of Jason Fields. Jason Fields, who's a homosexual, been having sex with Tracy Banks and has been kidnapping in order to try to make up for criminally defaming me while he's been stealing from me, which he paid. They paid Ontario police. This is all happening under the fake loan, and you literally just saw the entity at the Ontario Town Square do the cartwheel right in front of me. This is what you see them doing at the Ovid Family Community Library. This is what you see them doing when I'm in Upland, California. This is the entity. This is what you see them doing at the Stater Brothers. They literally did that right here. And you're looking at the previous video of me documenting the fact that he's talking about you can't sleep here while you're gang stalking me. Okay, the government and the entity is being federally prosecuted. That's the pattern of conduct. And I can sleep here, and I am sleeping here where you've been stalking by the same Ontario police every night. But you can. The government is monitoring and stalking and stole from me. I'm going to sleep right here. This is P.O.C. This is relevant to prison, though. This is bigger than this little puppet that's gang stalking me because he's angry as a documented terrorist at 11:15 p.m. while that airport is stalking by doing a cartwheel in alignment to me over here over the Metro 1 and 2 apartments. That's the same Asian male. He's a psychopath. And this is all my evidence tying all that together because it's on the record. But these are demons that are going to prison. Jason Fields is going to prison, and so is his sex partner, Tracy Banks, and so are the kidnappers and stalkers of Ontario police. And they're all obsessed with me because they are demon-possessed. This is P.O.C. It is currently 4:32 a.m. Okay, I just want to be clear. This is the demon that is monitoring with the Ontario. Oh my, he's stalking with light. He's not police. He's not engaged in any parking enforcement. He's engaged in what is light activity, and he's doing so where the airport is flying in alignment to me. He's doing so under the fake moon that's over me. He's doing so while he is witnessing gang stalking me while I am documenting him. This is the non-parking enforcement. This is the U.S. military gang stalking through the people of the state. This is the city of Ontario gang stalking through a demon that's maintaining criminal presence in the path. This is the same one that is targeting, and he was gang stalking me at 11:15 p.m. as well. He is very severely mentally ill, and he's engaging in the pattern of conduct. And I want to be clear, this is light activity, relevant positioning, and ongoing. Well, my voice is literally audible activity, but this is the demon that's monitoring, and he's been monitoring me for over a month. I've been documenting it. All right, this is P.O.C, and this is, again, the reason why the entity is going to federal prison. This is the unintelligent system as I've broken it down, and they are, again, as poor as an actor is the UPS that are stalking with commercial planes over the B Street and Laurel Avenue intersection. You're not acting like you're taking off there. There's no takeoff. Everybody knows that there's no airport. You look crazy. This is what they're doing with regard to gang stalking under the guise of, oh, I'm late night. I'm engaging in patrolling and parking enforcement. This is light activity. And you're engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring. And this is all you're doing is slapping a logo, by the way, with regard to Ontario police. This is what Ontario police do. In fact, this is what they were doing right over here, stalking me last night as I walked to the bench where I'm sleeping, where Ontario police are stalking on a ceaseless basis, and Ontario police are stalking now. These are the bad actors. The bad acting, the lying, the criminal summoning conduct, they're being committed. It's relevant to their psychopathic disorders. They who are demons engaging in the gang stalking system, which is public corruption, and all the means whereby they're engaging in the pattern of conduct and acting like it's something else. That's the same evidence that's going to be used to have them committed. And I'm going to prosecute. This is defunding terrorism. This is P.O.C. This is the demon that's monitoring me, talking about you can't park over here. Both are monitoring. That's not parking enforcement. Both of them are monitoring. It's criminal summoning. With the demons of Ontario police, it's the same pattern of conduct. P.O.C. Alrighty, it is currently 5 a.m. and this is the evidence of the Ontario International Airport, which is the city of Ontario, which, by the way, literally the United States military, these demons in the military are using commercial planes stalking me. And this is why you hear that loud plane activity, which is not the product or the result of a plane that would take off from the Ontario International Airport from the terminals. Neither are there any scheduled flights right now. Neither would there be any flights from the airport were there any scheduled flights that include hovering over me where you can hear that plane activity. And this is where the city of Ontario is gang stalking me, like I documented at 2:44 in the morning. And then the next video, you're looking at this demon gang stalking me while he's creating light activity in the path, while the fake moon is over me, where the airport is stalking me with him, while that entity is also at the same time engaging in what the Ontario Police Department do, feigning having authority when they are stalking you. Okay, and you are engaging in that pattern of conduct in furtherance of murder. That's called malice. And this is the entity that's engaging in that while the government is stalking through the people of the state. And you are not a police officer. You'll be prosecuted as a terrorist. You're not parking enforcement. You're going to be prosecuted as a mentally ill terrorist. And this is what they're doing in that environment. And this is literally what the entity is
holding on to. Demons that are going to be in federal court talking about the proof, Your Honor, is the citation that I gave to the people of the state that are always engaging in what is relevant positioning, stalking at that corner where the demon is engaging in what is quote unquote parking enforcement. They're always engaging in surveillance right there. I'm documenting it regularly, stalking me where I'm getting up on the bench and they're aiming their light in the middle of the night, in the morning, molesting me from that distance, engaging in psychopathic pacing. And he is using that ongoing post regarding surveilling me to engage in what is conspicuous surveillance, stalking, monitoring, conspicuous monitoring, because it's light activity relevant positioning where the government is stalking using commercial airline planes. It is very blatant prosecution evidence. And the entity is literally relying on my evidence to I don't believe that they actually have any intention to argue in court because they've already been prosecuted. But this is what you would ostensibly be doing. You're relying on my evidence that you are gang stalking in order to claim that you're not guilty. And they are literally admitting, in other words, they are admitting to guilt. They are guilty at the outset. Your citation is evidence of presence. You're there. Oh, you're present while the entity is stalking, flying in circles over by helicopter, and you're over there enforcing parking. Okay. That's called light activity and relevant positioning. They're monitoring. Oh, and you're doing that under the fake sun and the fake moon at night that remains over this person that's documenting you engaging in the identical behavioral pattern. All right. As a psychopath, as though you have authority or as though you're oblivious to that person that you are stalking. They're going to prison. Anyway, it's currently 5:03 a.m. That is the city of Ontario targeting me, and they're doing so because of the damning evidence that I have been maintaining. The entity is hostile. The entity is angry. The entity is envious, and they engage in harassing me, such as hitting on the bench and waking me up in the middle of the morning and running off talking about you can't sleep there. And and you're gang stalking me while doing that. And then you're gang stalking me in the subsequent evidence like I'm documenting now. This is the P.O.C. And this is an entity that is not taken seriously, and in federal court they're going to be treated like the unstable psychopaths, the vagina monitors that they are, and including those that are of the U.S. military that are stalking me in commercial airline planes, and the Ontario International Airport that is permitting that. That's the government acting directly and vicariously, and this is the basis of prison. Demons like Jason Isaac Fields are using the puppets in Ontario, California to target me. This is why, as I document and as I publish on X, on my YouTube channel, the Ontario Police Department began flying in circles over me. They're going to prison. They're vagina monitors. All right. These homosexuals that do rituals surrounding my vagina. They don't even like women, and they're doing rituals surrounding a woman's genitalia, whom they're stalking. And then you're claiming that you're giving out a citation to somebody else around me. You're gang stalking. And that's the entity that's engaged in that at 5 a.m. There's no flights right now. And no flights are going to create what is this audible activity. This is P.O.C. at the Ontario Town Square, and it is 5:05 a.m. The entity stalking again, and like I stated in the previous video, I want to pay attention to that again because this demon is stalking at 11:15 last night. He's pacing in the parking lot while these demons are molesting me with light. They're all engaged in what is stalking. All of them are stalking me. I'm sitting on the bench, and these demons are taking turns molesting me with light. They're a bunch of psychopaths. I went about and documented all their license plates. And then the entity is, and as I'm going and getting their license plates, documenting them, this demon in the parking enforcement vehicle is sharing in the psychopathic pacing. He's gang stalking. He's crossing path on Lemon. And when he crosses path on Lemon, this is when the demons, they are stalking in planes at 11:16 p.m., doing a cartwheel, flying up to where my person is located on Lemon Avenue and turning around and doing a cartwheel over Metro 102 apartments. They are flying up to where my person is located at the Ontario Town Square and doing a cartwheel over the El Cabone Mule Car Smokehouse. Very target where this demon is going to be in court, and a very clear-cut prosecution for gang stalking me and doing so while harassing me as I sleep overnight at the Ontario Town Square, where they're engaging in stalking me ceaselessly and using the fact that I am sleeping outside as a means to gang stalk and harass and threaten me. That's the reality of what's going on. And you're not engaging in any authority under the law or any authority regarding whatever trade or job that you're using to engage in the pattern of conduct in furtherance of murder. P.O.C. At B Street in Euclid.
And this is flying in the direction west while I'm crossing the street, leaving the Ontario Town Square, where quote unquote parking enforcement is stalking me by harassing me in the middle of the night. 2:44 a.m. is when the entity decided to do that. And I also want to speak to, that's the same plane activity that's occurring at the Stater Brothers, which is west of this location. Like I said, Amber and Isaiah, amongst many others, are going to prison for gang stalking me. Gang stalking is terrorism, and that is no small thing. And they've also been doing so as a corporate entity with the government for years. And that's also a matter of evidence, the wealth of evidence against Stater Brothers, which is the government that's gang stalking these homosexual military personnel using commercial plans, which they thought was a genius idea because the demon-possessed think more highly of themselves than they ought to. They're actually vagina-monitoring cockroaches that are highly ignorant, as the P.O.C. shows. But they're the gang stalking the U.S. government that's using commercial planes because they surmise that that is less obvious of the military engaging in warfare in the United States than them flying around in their military jets, in their military airplanes and helicopters. And it's not. You can clearly see that it is the U.S. government. You can clearly see that it is stalking. You can clearly see that it is improper for even the commercial airline planes. That does not mean that they fly everywhere all the time, even outside of what's published, outside of there's laws. And these are things that criminals, lawless beings, are not taken into account. That's the entity that is showing you how corrupt they are also. And it's just a matter of paying attention and documenting that conduct, which is getting to the pattern of conduct, and it is exposing the corrupt military. And it's also, those companies are corrupt because they are permitting the military. They're not reporting the military using their planes. They're not complaining. They are sharing in that pattern of conduct. And they are called the people of the state, and corporate entities are being prosecuted as terrorists because that's what they are. All right, and it is literally the U.S. government that are doing so, as I've shown the population acting fully in concert with the entity. Anyway, I just want to document that. This is the entity that's stalking commercial planes while I'm at the intersection, and the demons are on both sides of me on Euclid Avenue. That's surveillance, not traffic, just like I said. P.O.C. Stalking. This is Pollyann being prosecuted. Funding terrorism. It's being entirely defunded. Stalking with the people. 6 Xavier Victor Zebra 779. That's a Nissan dark maroon van at what is 6:01 a.m. stalking. Now migrating to what is the same elevation, same plane activity, same nuisance throughout the city as I'm traveling west. I'm at Holt Boulevard and Vine Avenue, stalking me with the population. This is the entity that's doing so on a ceaseless basis, and this is the evidence prosecuting the people of the state. I've been prosecuting the people of the state since the beginning. I proved that the government is gang stalking, and then I focused my documentation on the people of the state. But I've been prosecuting the domestic terrorists since day one. And this is a prosecution of domestic terrorists who are going to be federally prosecuted as a population in California. P.O.C. It's currently 6:02 a.m. at Holt and Vine, where there are also no planes, and the entity is literally doing a zigzag. While from the same airport, you are hovering over me at B Street and Euclid, and now I'm at Holt and Vine. Holt is south of Euclid Avenue, and this is where the people are stalking. Okay, this is the entity that is stalking the roads and the highways. It's not traffic, it's surveillance. This is P.O.C. Emporia Place, the Vos Church, Vine and Holt. Gators Auto Glass, L&R Auto Repair, Safeco Auto, where the gang members engaged in criminal summoning with the terrorists. This is where they're hovering, where the fake sun is present from morning until afternoon. And crossing path with the stalker license plate. Just like the maroon van, they're one entity. 9 David Uncle Thomas 423 P.O.C. This is psychopathic pacing by the people and the engineered environment. And these are the demon-possessed that are very suicidal. You need to understand what suicidal behavior is, and it's not what the demon-possessed entity has presented, because they have been murdering people and then claiming that they are suicidal, and that's why and how they died. The entity that is targeting, the entity that is stalking, the entity that is self-destructive in doing so, like stalking when the case is already proven, these are those that are at risk of suicide. This is indeed suicidal behavior. P.O.C. It is currently 6:04 a.m. at Holt and Vine Avenue. 530 West Holt Boulevard, Ontario International Airport. This is the obsession of the U.S. military that are mentally ill. So just so that you are clear, the entity that is a part of law enforcement, this is a subsidiary of the same cult. The cult members, the demon possessed that are a part of the military, they are mentally ill. As you are analyzing their behavior, which is posing a threat to the public, especially while the U.S. military is keeping the American people under criminal surveillance in furtherance of murdering them as they target them, engage in psychological torture, psychological warfare tactics, and psychopathic means of stalking. So not just stalking, but stalking in psychopathic, sexually perverted, demented, unheard of, unprecedented methods, such as with light, such as in planes, such as in helicopters, and doing the behavior such as flying in circles over them. And this is what a military is doing in foreign countries when you're attacking them. And this is actually demonic behavior. So is psychological torture. That's demonic. And this is also making sense why demons that are a part of the military are engaging in the demonic system of gang stalking. But nonetheless, walking west on Hope Boulevard at 6:06 a.m., another plane. These are the mentally ill that are obsessing. And that's what gang stalking is, by the way. You're talking about maintaining plane after plane. That's what you're doing in traffic, vehicle after vehicle, because the group is stalking together. As I'm progressing anywhere, the group is following one after another. And you're going to prosecute the entity that's engaging in that for domestic terrorism. This is terrorism that the United States government is engaging in with the people of the state in the U.S. Okay? It's been 1 minute and 50 seconds. This is another plane at Holt and Bonita. 67335 Yolanda 3 is stalking on the roads and the highways with the U.S. government. Doing so, the Ontario Village Shopping Center. These are demons that hate this country, by the way. This is the entity that includes the United States military. They're enemies of this country. That includes the public officials that are in positions of government that despise this country, that have sold our privacy to other countries, and that are sacrificing American citizens, that are gang stalking them and doing so with hostility because they're being exposed. They are very much enemies of this country, and they despise you and I. That's the reality of the entity that is not patriotic, that is entirely un-American, that is anti-American, that is also engaging in the evidence to you, the fact that they are engaged in criminal surveillance. The commercial airline companies, every single last one, are being prosecuted for what the entity is engaging in, sharing a pattern of conduct. Alrighty, this is the same Ontario Village Shopping Center, and I'm capturing that at what is 6:08 a.m., where no planes are going to be soaring, doing cartwheels over Hope Boulevard, over the parking lot, over my head. This is all the means whereby I've documented the pattern of conduct, and this is the entity that's doing so when they have lost all hope. They are indeed, this is a suicidal, homosexual, psychopathic, sexually perverted entity of demons, and they are the U.S. military, and they are also with the people of the state engaging in criminal activity that they're no longer secretly engaging in, and they're doing so at this obvious level because they are indeed suicidal. So this is also a threat to the public. P.O.C. Okay, you already know what that is. That's the cartwheels that you've seen literally hundreds of times at the Ontario Village Shopping Center, which is where I'm at now, which is exposing who's at the registers inside of Stater Brothers, who's in the bathroom hallway monitoring my vagina in close proximity, because they're all monitoring my vagina outside on the roads and the highways, in the sky space, and in the store. They are outside in the hallway in the adjacent restrooms to get as close to my exposed vagina as possible, monitoring. And it's also telling on all those that are filling the aisles inside of Stater Brothers and stalking under the guise of replacing placing inventory, where they are stalking with light, stalking with audible activity, blocking my path in order to engage in what is activity creation around me, while they are plotting on, that is creating circumstances to ambush me, to engage in what is, oh, let me get this out of your way, while they're surrounding with noise, while they engage in following someone around. You need to understand in your mind what they're literally doing. Imagine necessarily a weirdo that's mentally ill and undiagnosed, untreated, but they know that they're mentally ill while they're stalking you, and they intend to torment you with their mentally ill behavior while they are obsessed with you, and their mental illness is born of their obsession with you. Imagine that person is following you around and is making sure that as they follow you around, they are beating on a drum while they are following you around. They're intentionally doing that, and every time that you make a move, they start beating on their drum, and they even put their back to you. They'll face the opposite direction while they have the uncanny ability to start pounding on that drum the moment you make a move, the moment that you pull out your cell phone, the moment that you engage in getting on the internet. That's what the demon possessed are doing. It's called stalking with noise, and it's based on their mental illness, which is demon possession. And the courts in this country can prosecute regarding the mentally ill behavior that is what should be understood relevant to what is a public safety concern. The mentally ill that are demon possessed, which is proven by their engagement in the satanic, that is the supernatural pattern of conduct. The demon possessed that stalk you with their back to you, and they think that you are carnally minded and ignorant about the fact that they're demons who are focused on you and stalking you physically while you're looking at them, but they are monitoring you, and they are aware of what you're doing, including monitoring your genitalia while you're in your home, and they are living next door to you, while they're flying over your home, while they're outside on the curb in front of your house, while they're driving by your house, while they're at the grocery store around the corner from your house, and your genitalia is under surveillance. That is proven through the fake sun. That's proven through the suicidal conduct of the mentally ill, the U.S. military that are using commercial airline companies that I'm going to prosecute for terrorism. That's the proof of everything that I'm speaking to you. The P.O.C. thoroughly lays out every aspect of what I'm giving you an example of. Gang stalking, demonic activity. This is P.O.C. You've seen the entity engaging in that. I'm in front of Kings Inc. And this is where within the Ontario Village Shopping Center, where it's shared by Stater Brothers, the venue that I go to regularly, that are poisoning me. And the entities engaging in poisoning and furtherance of murder with the government that's stalking. The government is stalking, and you're tampering with the food products that she purchases from you, right? You're going to prison. That's the government that's acting vicariously. Stater Brothers is not a grocery store. Stater Brothers is engaged in surveillance, which is all that the United States government is engaging in, keeping all of us under surveillance, knowing who you are, even if you don't know who you are, spiritually speaking, regarding your identity and the threat that you pose to the kingdom of darkness. Okay, this is P.O.C. and it is currently, as I take a seat in front of King's Inc., that's 628 D as in dog, and everybody here is stalking. They're engaging in surveillance, waiting to drive around the corner, to drive into the parking lot, to cross path, to engage in what is sitting there in the parking lot with their headlights on, to engage in what is stalking with activity, to turn their headlights off when I start moving, to walk in and out of the grocery store pacing around me and doing so. It's entirely pathetic, while their entire existence collectively as demons centers around me, the one whom they worship. This is P.O.C. It is currently 6:15 a.m. Alrighty, it is currently 1:03 p.m. And this is where the city of Upland is keeping my vagina under surveillance. This is the office where Adam Tuckerman is engaging in relevant positioning, pacing in and out of these side doors, which is what Joy is doing, and pacing in and out of the restroom. Where surveillance indeed of that which is private is entirely underway. The flushing of the toilet as I walk by, that's called activity creation under the fake sun. Pay attention, all it be. You see that? Just ongoing context. Pay attention to the demons. They give you all type of signals. They're not too bright. But that fake sun is 1:03 p.m. And it's over this window at 10 o'clock in the morning, by the way. So it has been 3 hours, and everyone in here is engaged in corporate sexual violence on behalf of the city of Upland, by the way. That is repeatedly engaged in what is criminal summoning. That is psychopaths that are mentally ill, just driving in circles around the venue over and over, sounding sirens. Okay, COLLIN, SHEEHY is very mentally ill. This is what you're getting from all the facts prosecuting him while I stay inside of the library. And then he's filling it with the sound of sirens. This is called crossing path. By the way, that same defendant is on video after 4 p.m. while I stand at the same location, and she's gang stalking, entering in. This is a systematic gang stalker. which is federal prison. Joy acts with impunity with sex offenders that engage in surveillance in the women's restroom. This is the conduct of the mentally ill. This is P.O.C. Bathroom monitoring. This is criminal summoning by the terrorists, Ontario Police. That's vehicle 1129. They're doing so as I cross the street. So that's stalking and activity creation. The moment you make a new move, that's monitoring. This is at what is Euclid Avenue and H Street, H as in Henry. And this is the entity that has the fake sun over me, where the Black Night Patrol are stalking with light at nightfall and the fake sun is over me in the morning. This is the same intersection. I'm documenting being at the Bank of America. This is exactly where I captured video at 7 o'clock in the morning, where the fake sun is outside of aimed into my hotel room regarding what is stalking me with a fake sun, and that is the Ontario Police stalking me under a fake sun, monitoring. The Ontario Police are monitoring in furtherance of murder with the people of the state. License plate 80 Yolanda Larry 347. And there's no natural environment during daylight savings time or not where the sun would be in perfect alignment with me on this same street at the same venue during the 7 a.m. hour, and still in alignment with me crossing the street even at 6:12 p.m. where the Ontario Police are proven to be engaged in criminal surveillance on the roads and the highways. And you'll see in my images, United Airlines, the commercial airline companies, are also stalking, going in the direction what is south. As I'm progressively walking south, I'm on this side of the street, and as I cross, that's when the Ontario Police have an emergency and they turn on their lights and sirens. This is the mental illness that COLLIN, SHEEHY, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department are exhibiting, stalking under a fake sun. Okay, a fake sun, by the way, that is not remaining outside of the Upland Public Library today as it is yesterday. This is P.O.C. This is the Ontario Police that are being disbanded, and federal prison is what is mandated for the terrorist leader, Mike LORENZ, and every kidnapper. P.O.C. All right, license plate 21422 Charlie 3, sexual assault and battery. Doing so with the city of Ontario that's stalking me at the 8th Street and Euclid Avenue as I cross the street. Doing so while I am under the fake sun that is, again, on the east side of Tracy Banks' front door, unit number 51, where I routinely documented on a daily basis the fake sun on this east side of her front door in the morning, and it would set on the west side of her front door. And that is the entity that's also departing from abandoning the fake sun remaining outside of the Upland Public Library, where it's remaining until I exit. This is the P.O.C. and this is the entity engaging in sexual violence, engaging in what is psychological torture, communicating hatred and disdain by strangers that are stalking and acting in furtherance of my murder. That's exactly what the touching with impossible light is, the entity telling me that they're conspiring my murder, that they're stalking me. And that's relevant to prosecuting that third party and the government. This is P.O.C. at what is 6:30 p.m.